Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at kind of a quick one. This is a Starfall install. I'm kind of in between two other Sabers that are relying on brass casting to come in. So this customer had reached out and this was going to be a quick, simple, fully removable install, nothing special. So I was able to fit it in between since I'm waiting on brass casting to come in. And I also have to kind of set up some testing benches for some blasters that I'm going to be putting together too. So this is a, like I said, Starfall, fully removable. So we got a pommel that comes off and a fully removable chassis. This is based on kind of my standard chassis, but there's a lot bigger opening here. Oops, I can't seem to mirror. So there's our Shtok Rotary PCB set. And what I was able to do is fully enclose a 28mm speaker. So the nice thing is, you know, it wasn't too hard to modify my chassis and then throw it on the printer and get it going and install it. So like the last time I used something like this, I do have some onboard tactiles, and we'll show that over on the overhead. But yeah, pretty simple setup. We do also have a Shtok emitter PCB, and you can see that is the blade depth. So this is a good, easy, solid saber to swing around and do some mild combat if you're going to do that. So let's hop over to the top down. Let's show off that chassis again. We'll go over a couple things and then we'll hop back out. I'll show a couple examples. I did do a little bit of different programming because I made some assumptions about this customer that isn't normal to my typical programming with the FET263 prop file, and I'll go into more detail in a second. So here we are. Again, we've got our Shtok emitter PCB, the V4 NPXL with the onboard LEDs. These are just going to mimic what the blade does. It comes down to about, I think it was right here. Yeah, so you've got like 2 inches, 2 and maybe a quarter inch of blade depth. So, and this is a 7/8 emitter. And so you do have a set screw here. Keep in mind that these 2 set screws hold the switch/rotary PCB holder set, so don't mess with those. They are a different size, so chances are you weren't shipped with that Allen key and you just have this one. Since this came to me from the client, they didn't come with an Allen key, so I will use my tool. But how we get to everything is we just take the pommel off. Our chassis comes out. This is the KR Duo switch. This was a 12mm hole, just kind of set up to do whatever. And so we went with the simplest design possible. So we got the aluminum. The left is your power and the right is your aux. And then again, here's our fully removable chassis, 28mm fully enclosed KR bass speaker. We have our kill switch right here, Proffie V3, the configs on the SD card, Shtok Rotary PCB set, pancake right there, our pogo set down there in the little holder. Again, those are holding that in. And then if you knock the battery out, you can see we got the Starfall logo, positive terminal clearly indicated, but as always, spring side is your negative, nipple to the nipple, and you're good to go. So yeah, we'll just hit that on. Get our boots out. Because this is fully enclosed, this is super loud. So I kind of did some extra bit of coating in my top section to, I've set it to 2500, but I will probably knock that down about 70% so that you can crank it if you want to, but around 70-80% is a great volume to operate at. But then I also made sure to do some audio clash suppression settings, and I even turned on another setting because I was getting weird reactivity in battle mode. And that's the thing that I did differently. So I turned battle mode off automatically. My normal defines usually will have twist on, and then because it uses a gesture, you get into battle mode or thrust on. And what I did was neither of those get into battle mode. You can still get to battle mode, but you have to hold aux for like 2 seconds, and then it'll do like the force effect. But then when you're in battle mode, and so again you hold aux for 2 seconds, and you'll turn battle mode off. So you actually actively have to choose to use that mode, because I figured this is more of an old school customer that just wants all the controls on the switch. So that's what we're doing. Speaking of switches. On your left, on your right is your aux. I'm sorry, power. I always get these inverted. And then on your left is aux. So it's different here. And that's just because Proffie V2 to V3, they switched which side button 1 and button 2 is on. So I always like my main on the left and my aux on the right. But it's inverted on the actual chassis itself. So you can press your little thing to change it. You still do have gesture controls, but if you want to, you can press power. And if you want to do like some battery level checking.
Enter volume menu, maximum volume.
So I'm going to bring it down.
Exiting volume menu.
So that was about 70%. You heard Mace Windu because I put all the voice packs into each of the font folders. Obviously, this has the Starfall font package. So if there wasn't a specific character it was based around, in the common folder, I use the Hu Yang as the voice prompt for the OS 8. So if you want to do
battery level 59%.
So I still need to charge this up some more. But yeah, I'm providing the battery. That's I think a Saber Bay battery wrap. So we'll just show off the emitter real quick. Again, it's just going to mimic what the blade does. So we'll hop out and put a test blade in real quick. I'm just going to use this miniature test blade real quick. But what you want to do is make sure it's set on those PCB pins. I kind of like to press it down with my fingers and then get your Allen key. Again, you didn't send me one, but I'm using my tool here. Cinch that off and then power button to light it up. So again, this has the full Starfall sound font package. Here's the newer ones. So these have pre-ons. One thing I did change with the gesture ons is if you twist on, it will do the pre-on. Normally I don't have it do that. I just assume if you're going to use gesture mode, you're trying to get into quickly do stuff. But on this one, just in case, I did the twist on will do a pre-on, but then if you do the thrust on, you'll bypass pre-ons. So those are the only changes I've made to my normal way I program OS 8. So we'll shoot that off real quick. This does have a real quick pre-on, and it's sound reactive. So whatever pre-on it chooses, however active that sound is, it'll do it. So that was the pre-on there. Aux for blaster blocks. And since you're not in battle mode, if you want to engage a lockup, you can hold either power or aux as you clash. And then until you let go, you're in a lockup. And that's true of tip effects. Now, because I'm using this tiny blade, you're not going to see the tip effects or even the lockup. So,
Alliance.
And then Alliance is another one of these. So that was a bit of a longer pre-on. And I just pressed the button to turn that on. So again, regular mode, but super loud. I don't know how well my lavalier mic's picking it up, but I even knocked it down to 70%. And this thing is awesome sounding. So you're really going to enjoy this. But if the battery starts to get depleted, as I showed just a second ago, this is at 59%, but you may start to hear sound degradation or glitchy things, and that just means you probably need to charge your battery. So again, to get that battery, we're going to hold aux and tap power.
Battery level at 58%.
If you want to get into the volume level, you'll hold power and tap aux.
Enter volume menu.
And then here we can hear, this is old Ben. I'm going to revert, or I'm sorry, I'm just going to cancel the volume, but rotate one way, you'll go up, rotate the other way, you'll go back.
Exit volume menu.
Press the button to accept it. There are also a couple fonts that have quotes. If you want to get those, you'll have to invert the hilt when the blade is on to switch between force player and quote player. This is not one of them, but I'll demonstrate the force effect real quick. So if I hold power for 2 seconds, you get that sound, and you can sort of see the blade goes into like an unstable. Kind of harder to tell on this particular one, but let's go back. If you point the hilt down, you'll go backwards. So here's one that does have quotes that I've separated. So I'm going to show the force effect by holding power. You can sort of see it started to flash there, it went unstable. But if I point the hilt down, we're going to flip-flop. You'll notice it also didn't animate the blade because we're now in quote player mode. To go backwards, we're going to hold it again down. And it went unstable. So that's force player, quote player. If you want to start and stop a track, I've designated tracks for each of these. But to get the designated track, you need to hold the saber upright and hold power for 2 seconds. You can stop it by doing the same thing, holding power for 2 seconds. But any other position other than directly up will get into track player mode, which goes into the common folder, looks for all the tracks. I put a plethora of them in there, so it's fun, and you have a lot to choose from. And depending on which button you press after you select which track you want to play, it will either keep playing through, play random. I'll have a printout for the instructions to tell you exactly what button does what, but let's demonstrate that real quick. So you get that little chime that lets you know you're in track player. Track starts to play immediately, but if we rotate, if we want this one to play, then we can hit any button. And now I can move it around and it won't change the track. And again, hold for 2 seconds to stop. So that's pretty much going to cover this. Anything else that hasn't been covered here, I've covered extensively in older videos. So to the customer, if you want to watch some of those, but you don't have to. There will be a printout that explains the FET263 prop file. Again, I've turned on twist on and thrust on for gestures, but if you want to use battle mode, then you'll need to hold aux for 2 seconds when the blade is on. It'll do a force effect, but then as you swing the saber around and you clash it, depending on how hard you clash, you'll actually engage the lockup, and that's battle mode in a nutshell. Essentially, you don't have to hold a button to engage lockups. So other than that, when we're ready, we can undo the pommel. I'll turn it on real quick, and then hit the kill switch, everything turns off. And again, if you need to, you can pop the battery out to charge it. So that's that. Any questions, feel free to email me, and to everyone else out there watching, thank you, and may the force be with you.